by the request, by the blessing of Krishna-presthaya Mataji, and by the blessing of Sri Radha Govinda, Gaurnithai, and Prabhupada, we are reading Srimad-Bhagavatam 1.5.1. Narada's instructions on Srimad-Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva. Sutta uvacha athatam sukhamashina upasinam brihashrava devarshi praviprarshim vinapane smayaniva. Sutta uvacha say, atha therefore, tam him, sukham asina comfortably seated, upasinam unto one sitting nearby, brihat shrava greatly appreciated, greatly respected, devarshi the great rishi among the gods, praha said, viprarshim unto the rishi among the brahmanas, vina pani one who carries a vina in his hand, smayan iva apparently smiling. Suta Goswami said, thus the sage among the gods, Narada, comfortably seated and apparently smiling, addressed the rishi among the brahmanas, Vyasadeva. So rishi that he is approached, Suta Goswami approaching is they approached the rishi among the brahmanas, Vyasadeva. Purport by Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Svami Prabhupada. Narada was smiling because he well knew the great sage Vyasa and the cause of his disappointment. As he will explain gradually, Vyasadeva's disappointment was due to insufficiency in presenting the science of devotional service. Narada Muni knew the defect, and it was confirmed by the position of Vyasa. Do you remember Vyasadeva was disappointed because he didn't glorify Sri Krishna, devotional service to Sri Krishna. He wrote all the Vedas, all knowledge, but he didn't glorify Krishna. Narada Vacha Parasharya Mahabhaga Bhagavata Kashitatmana Paritishyati Sharira Atma Manasa Evava. Narada Uvacha said, Parasharya, also no Parashara, Mahabhaga, the greatly fortunate, Bhagavata, your Kashit, if it is, Atmana, by the self-realization of Paritushyati, does it satisfy, Sharira, identifying the body, Atma, self, Manasa, identifying the mind, Eva, certainly, Va, and. Addressing Vyasadeva, the son of Parashara, Narada inquired, are you satisfied by identifying with the body or the mind as objects of self-realization? Purport. This was a hint by Narada to Vyasadeva regarding the cause of his despondency. Vyasadeva, as the descendant of Parashara, a greatly powerful sage, had the privilege of having a great parentage which should not have given Vyasadeva cause for despondency. Being a great son of a great father, he should not have identified the self with the body or the mind. Ordinary men with a poor fund of knowledge can identify the body as self or the mind as self, but Vyasadeva should not have done so. One cannot be cheerful by nature unless one is factually seated in a self-realization which is transcendental to the material body and mind. Jijnashitam susampannam abhite mahadabhutam kirtavan Bharatam yastva sarvata paribrimhitam Jijnasitam, fully inquired, susampannam, well-versed, api, in spite of, te, your, mahadhabhutam, great and wonderful, kritavan, preparate, bharatam, the Mahabharata, ya tvam, what you have done, sarva artha, including all sequences, paribrimhitam, elaborately explained. Your inquiries were full and your studies were also well fulfilled. And there is no doubt that you have prepared a great and wonderful work, the Mahabharata, which is full of all kinds of Vedic sequences elaborately explained. Purport. The despondency of Vyasadeva was certainly not due to his lack of sufficient knowledge, because as a student he had fully inquired about the Vedic literatures, as a result of which the Mahabharata is compiled with full explanation of the Vedas. Jijnasitam apitam cha brahmaya tat sanatanam Tatape shocha syatmanam akritartha iva prabho. Jijnasitam, deliberately, fully well. Adhitam, the knowledge obtained. Cha and Brahma, the absolute. Yat, what. Tat, that. Sanatanam, eternal. Tatapi, in spite of that. Shocha, see. Lamenting, Atmanam, unto the self, Akritartha, undone, Eva, like, Prabhu, my dear Sir. You have fully delineated the subject of impersonal Brahman, as well as the knowledge derived therefrom. Why should you be despondent in spite of all this, thinking that you are undone? My dear Prabhu. Purport. The Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra compiled by Sri Vyasadeva is a full deliberation of the impersonal absolute future, and it is accepted as the most exalted philosophical exposition in the world. It covers the subject of eternity, and the methods are scholarly. So there cannot be any doubt about the transcendental scholarship of Vyasadeva. So why should he lament? Vyasuvacha astyeva me sarvam idam tvayoktam tatapitmatma paritushate me tanmulam avyaktam agata bodham prichamahetvatma Bhavatma Bhutam. Vyasa, Vacha said, Asti, there is, Eva, certainly, Me, mine, Sarvam, all, Idam, this, Tvaya, by your, Uktam, uttered, Tatapi, and yet, Na, not, Atma, self, Paritushya te, thus, pacify, me, unto me, tat, of which, mulam, root, avyaktam, undetected, agota bodham, the man of unlimited knowledge, prichamahe, do inquire, tva, unto you, atmabhava, self-born, atmabhutam, offspring. Sri Vyasadeva said, all you have said about me is perfectly correct. Despite all this, I am not pacified. See how Vyasadeva is humble. He acquired his all knowledge of Vedic knowledge. Nobody can defeat him. And he says, all the said about me is correct. In modern times, millions narcissists, arrogants, who are never wrong. I know everything. I'm never wrong. But Vyasadeva says, whatever you said about me is correct. I didn't describe Krishna. Despite all this, I am not pacified. Therefore, question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction. For you are a man. So, Vyasadeva says, all you have said about me is perfectly correct. Despite all this, I am not pacified. I therefore question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction. For you are a man of unlimited knowledge, due to your being the offspring of one, Brahma, who is self-born, without mundane father and mother. So he is telling about his spiritual master, Narada Muni, who came out from Brahma. Purport. In the material world, everyone is engrossed with the idea of identifying the body or the mind with the self. As such, all knowledge disseminated in the material world is related either with the body or with the mind, and that is the root cause of all despondencies. This is not always detected, even though one may be the greatest erudite scholar in materialistic knowledge. It is good, therefore, to approach a personality like Narada to solve the root cause of all despondencies. Why Narada should be approached is explained below. Savai bhavan vida samastadguhyam upasito yat purusha purana paravesha manasaiva vishvam srijatya vatyati gunaira sanga. Sa, thus, why, certainly, bhavan, yourself, Veda, now, samasta, all-inclusive, guhyam, confidential, upasita, devotee of, yat, because, purusha, the personality of Godhead, purana, the oldest, paravesha, the controller of the material and spiritual worlds, manasa, mind, eva, only, vishvam, the universe, trijati, greatest, avati atti, annihilatest, gunai, by the qualitative matter, asanga, unattached. My Lord, everything that's mysterious is known to you because you worship the creator and destroyer of the material world and the maintainer of the spiritual world, the original personality Godhead, who is transcendental to the three modes of material nature. Purport. A person who is 100% engaged in the service of the Lord is the emblem of all knowledge. Such a devotee of the Lord in full perfection of devotional service is also perfect by the qualification of the personality of Godhead. As such, the eightfold perfections of mystic power, Ashtasiddhi, constitute very little of his body opulence, his godly opulence. A devotee like Narada can act wonderfully by his spiritual perfection, which every individual is trying to attain. Srila Narada is a 100%, 100% perfect living being.
Living being.
Yeah, 100% perfect living being, although not equal to the personal Godhead. So Prabhupada is explaining Narada Muni is a perfect person, though he is not a god, but he is a perfect living entity. And he can bestow knowledge to his disciple Vyasadeva. Tvam narka iva trilokam antasharo vayurivatmasakshi paravare brahmani dharmat vratai snata same niyuna malam vichakshva. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Here is the one Prabhu is attending. What's your name, good name, Prabhu? What? Balakrishna Prabhu. He has a good family, daughter, and they are all coming and cooking for hundreds devotees today. Hare Krishna. He is doing service for the Vaishnava and Krishna. Tvam paryata narka eva trilokam anta shara vayura bhatmasakshi paravare brahmani dharmata vratai snata samenyuna malam vichakshva. Tvam, your goodness, paryatan, traveling, arka, the sun, eva, like, trilokim, the three walls, antachara, can penetrate into everyone's heart, vayu eva, as good as the all-pervading air, atma, self-realized, sakshi, witness, paravare, in the matter of cause and effect, brahmane, in the absolute, dharmata, under disciplinary regulations, vratai, in vow, snatasya, having been absorbed in, me, mine, nyunam, deficiency, alam, clearly, vichakshva, search out. Like the sun, your goodness can travel everywhere in the three worlds, and like the air, you can penetrate the internal region of everyone. As such, you are as good as the all-pervasive super soul. Please, therefore, find out the deficiency in me, despite my being absorbed in transcendence under disciplinary regulations and vows. Purport. Transcendental realization, pious activities, worshipping the deities, charity, mercifulness, non-violence, and studying the scriptures under strict disciplinary regulations are always helpful. So Vyasadeva is glorifying his spiritual master Narada Muni. He can travel all over the universe. And there is also saying he also can go to Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. As a dream. If the materialists get that opportunity, they would use that mystic power for sense gratification.
Likely.
They will go and for sense gratification. But Narada Muni has no material desire. His only desire is to serve, deliver knowledge of the Supreme Lord Krishna. There are different yogas. One of the yogis is called the mystic yogis, and they have power. They can do many things. They are able to do many things. They can go different planets. They can take whatever they want. They can become smaller. They can become huge. They can fly wherever they want. But still, Krishna is not attracted by their mystic powers, because Krishna is attracted by devotional service, like Prabhu. They are coming, serving and cooking for the devotees, for Krishna, for the deities, and Krishna is attracted by that. But when someone is sitting and showing all his mystic power, Krishna is not attracted. He says, some selfish person and power that got from me, instead of glorifying the source of all the perfection, he's just thinking he's the center of the universe. So therefore, if you want to attract Krishna, you gotta serve Krishna. Sri Narada Vacha Bhavatanudita Prayam Yasha Bhagavato Malam Yanaiva Saunatu Sheta Maneta Darshanam Kilam. Sri Narada, Vacha, say, Bhavata, by you, Anudita, Prayam, almost not praised. Yasha, glorious. Bhagavata, of the personality Godhead. Amalam, spotless. Yana, by which. Eva, certainly. Asau, he, the personality Godhead. Na, does not. Tushyata, be pleased. Manye, I think. Tat, that. Darshanam, philosophy. Kilam, inferior. The Sanskrit is rich knowledge. Darshanam, sometimes it's said you see the Lord Darshan, or Krishna see you. And also Prabhupada is translating as philosophy. It's philosophy like knowledge. Through knowledge you can see Krishna. Kilam, inferior. Sri Narada says, you have not actually broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the personality Godhead. That philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord is considered worthless. Purport. The eternal relation of an individual soul with the Supreme Soul Personality Godhead is constitutionally one of being the eternal servitor of the eternal Master. The Lord has expanded himself as living beings in order to accept the loving service from them, and this alone can satisfy both the Lord and the living beings. Such a scholar as Vyasadeva has completed many expansions of the Vedic literatures, ending with the Vedanta philosophy, but none of them have been written directly glorifying the personality Godhead. Dry philosophical speculations, even on the transcendental subject of the Absolute, have very little attraction without directly dealing with the glorification of the Lord. The personality Godhead is the last word in transcendental realization. The Absolute realized as impersonal Brahman or localized Super Soul, Paramatma, is less productive of transcendental bliss than the supreme personal realization of his glories. Do you see difference? There's a Brahman realization. Prabhupada is giving example. Brahman realization, you see sun from far, right? Impersonal. Oh, there is a sun effulgence. Then if you come closer, you see the sun disk. That is a Paramatma, Krishna in everyone's heart. So if you enter inside of them, or it's another example. Say if you see mountain from far, you see mountain, right, all over. When you come closer, you see someone is there. But when you are enter inside the Bhagavan, it's the close relationship. When you enter inside the sun or into the mountain, you start having relationship with people, speaking to them and serving them. The same way, the Bhagavan realization is higher. Brahman realization, you meditate, you have knowledge, etc. And Paramatma realization, you realize Krishna is in the heart. It's closer, right? But still, you think that he's in my heart, and I can serve or think, meditate on him. But most important part, Bhagavan, when you have relationship with this Lord, as your servitor or friend or parental relationship or loving relationship with him, all these relationships are closer, sweet. When people alone, they cannot live alone. Like so many people, they want to live alone in this world. But after some time, they get bored and they start looking for girlfriend, boyfriend, or
something else,
or alcohol, some parties. So nobody can be alone. Oh, the famous example, they bring dogs and cats.
Dogs and cats.
And they say, I'm strong, I can live myself. But behind the strong, there are cats, dogs. They become friends. So nobody can be alone. They're saying, if you don't serve God, it will turn over dog. You will serve dog.
Serve dog instead of God.
Prabhupada says. And I see that practically. You have not actually broadcast the sublime and spotless, glorious of the personality Godhead. That philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord is considered worthless. The eternal relation of individual soul. Oh yeah, we have just read it. So it says, we try to discuss the personality Godhead is the last part of transcendental realization. The absolute realized as impersonal Brahman or recognized the super soul, Paramatma, is less productive of transcendental bliss than the supreme personal realization of his glories, Bhagavan, Sri Krishna himself. Serving to him is the ultimate realization and ultimate bliss. Then you will not look for another boyfriend, girlfriend, dogs, cats, parties, alcohol, marijuana. Those things you will not look when you have this bliss. The compiler of the Vedanta Darshana is Vyasadeva himself, yet he is troubled, although he is the author. So what sort of transcendental bliss can be derived by the readers and listeners of Vedanta, which is not explained directly by Vyasadeva, the author? Here arises the necessity of explaining Vedanta Sutra in the form of Srimad-Bhagavatam by the self-same author. Yatha dharmadaya chartha munivarya nukirtita na tatha vasudevasya mahi anuvarnita. Yatha, as much as dharma, adaya, all four principles of religious behavior, cha and artha, purposes, muni varya, by yourself, the great sage, anukirtita, repeatedly described, na, not, tata, in that way, Vasudevasya, of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, Mahima, glorious, he, certainly, Anuvarnita, so constantly described. Although great sage, you have very broadly described the four principles beginning with religious performances, you have not described the glories of the Supreme Personality, Vasudeva. Vasudeva. After V-A, if it is long A, that's the Lord's name. But if it's short A, Vasudeva, it's Krishna's father Vasudeva's name, it's living entity. But if you put longer A, Vasudeva, it becomes Krishna's name, it's Krishna himself. So here it's about Vasudeva, this is Krishna's name. Purport. The prompt diagnosis of Sri Narada is at once declared. The root cause of the despondency of Vyasadeva was his deliberately avoidance of glorifying the Lord in his various editions of the Puranas. He has certainly, as a matter of course, given descriptions of the glories of the Lord, Sri Krishna, but not as many as given to religiosity, economic development, self-gratification, and salvation. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining that actually there is a good listener, her name is Pavana Devi. She likes to listen and discuss and sometimes argue.
In elementary school, my teachers always said, Patty is such a good listener.
That's a good
So
quality.
I got straight A's in school because I just listened to my teachers.
Yeah, this is a good quality.
It's a good quality.
So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, actually, it's not that Vyasadeva didn't. He wrote what's called Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. He's saying the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha in Sanskrit, and he says he even describes the glories of the glorifying the religious, so religious activity, economic development, self-gratification, and moksha, liberation. He described those things more than glorifying Krishna. So he's, Vyasadeva mentioned everywhere Krishna, but he mentioned more those material effects, material parts like dharma, artha, kama, moksha, religion, economic development. So he developed those parts more than Krishna. More than Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. More than Krishna. But his spiritual master Narada Muni says you gotta put more Krishna than those economic development. So that is a part. It's not like Vyasadeva didn't describe Krishna. He described about less than those. That's why so therefore he needs to focus on glorifying Krishna. But it says, but not as many as given to religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and salvation. These 4 items are by far inferior to engagement in the devotional service of the Lord. Sri Vyasadeva, as the authorized scholar, knew very well this difference. And still, instead of giving more importance to the better type of engagement, namely devotional service to the Lord, he had more or less improperly used his valuable time, and thus he was despondent. From this, it is clearly indicated that no one can be pleased substantially without being engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, this fact is clearly mentioned. After liberation, which is the last item in the line of performing religiosity, etc., one is engaged in pure devotional service. Do you know what is after liberation? We just told. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. This is material steps, still not pure devotional service. Dharma is the first step. You start following religious principles. Next, person starts thinking about economic development, right? Artha, economic development. One is for living well, developing living well and economically. Then dharma, artha, kama. Then comes sense gratification, natural, right? When people are rich and they have a good chance they don't have to work hard, and they have good chance. Either you choose to serve Lord or to good way, bad way, it's up to them, but it's good karma. Then after that comes moksha. Person when is like fed of all of this, like he is no more interested in those things, material things. He starts thinking about liberation, just get out from this world. Even that is not devotional service. Even that's not free. So therefore is you gotta start serving Krishna. When you serve Krishna, glorify Krishna, follow all the principles given by the starting from Narada Muni and other spiritual masters, then you get satisfaction if you follow properly. As after liberation, which is the last item in the line of performing religiosity, etc., one is engaged in pure devotional service. This is called the stage of self-realization, or the Brahma Bhuta stage. After attainment of this Brahma Bhuta stage, one is satisfied. But satisfaction is the beginning of transcendental bliss. One should progress by attaining neutrality and equality in the relative world. And passing this stage of equanimity, one is fixed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. This is the instruction of the personality Godhead in the Bhagavad Gita. The conclusion is that in order to maintain the status quo of the Brahma Bhuta stage, as also to increase the degree of transcendental realization, Narada recommended to Vyasadeva that he, Vyasadeva, should now eagerly and repeatedly describe the path of devotional service. This would cure him from gross despondency. Nayadvacha chitra padam hariryasho jagadva pavitram prakrinita karhichit tadvaya sam tirtam ushnantik manasa ya nayatraham sa niramantu shikshaya. Na, not, yat, that. Vacha, vocabulary. Chitrapadam, decorative. Hare, of the Lord. Yasha, glorious. Jagat, universe. Pavitram, sanctified. Pragrinita, described. Karhichit, hardly. Tat, that. Vayasam, cross. Tirtham, place of pilgrimage. Ushanti, think. Manasa, saintly persons. Na, not. Yatra, where. Hamsa, all perfect beings. Niramanti, take pleasure. Ushikshaya, those who reside in the transcendental abode. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Since the all-perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. Purport. Crows and swans are not birds of the same feather because, do you see the difference?
It's crows.
Crowns and swans.
Yes, and swans.
They cannot be together, Prabhupada says.
No.
Crows and swans, that's also called the crows, pigs, hogs, and other dirty ones, right?
But,
Dogs, hogs.
Yeah, swans are like the ultimate bird.
Yeah, swans are in clean place.
They're in a clean place.
Crows and swans are not birds of the same feather because of their different mental attitudes. The fruitive workers or passionate men are compared to the crows. Is it? The fruitive workers or passionate men are compared to the crows, whereas the all-perfect saintly persons are compared to the swans. The crows take pleasure in a place where garbage is thrown out, just as the passionate fruitive workers take pleasure in wine and women and places for gross sense pleasure. The swans do not take pleasure in the places where crowds are assembled for conferences and meetings. So there are conferences, meetings of the crows, and swans don't go there.
They won't go there. Wonder why.
Yeah. And swans are coming to chant Hare Krishna and glorify Krishna. What's your name, Prabhuji? I forgot your name. Balabhachandra. But Balabhachandra Prabhu came to glorify Krishna. Place where garbage is thrown out. So places where the crows are assembled for conferences and meetings.
I can't imagine what that would look like.
They are instead seen in the atmosphere of nature's scenic beauty, where there are transparent reservoirs of water nicely decorated with stems of lotus flowers and variegated colors of natural beauty. That is the difference between the two classes of birds. Nature has influenced the different spaces of life with different mentalities, and it is not possible to bring them up into the same rank and file. Similarly, there are different kinds of literature for different types of men of different mentality. Mostly the market literatures which attract men of the crowd's categories are literatures containing refused remnants of sensuous topics. They are generally known as mundane talks in relation with the gross body and subtle mind. They are full of subject matter described in decorative language, full of mundane similes. Mundane similes mean like similarities, right? And metaphorical arrangements. Yet, with all that, they do not glorify the Lord. Such poetry and prose on any subject matter is considered decoration of a dead body. Spiritually advanced men who are compared to the swans do not take pleasure in such dead literatures, which are sources of pleasure for men who are spiritually dead. These literatures in the modes of passion and ignorance are distributed under different labels, but they can hardly help the spiritual urge of the human being. And thus, the swan-like spiritually advanced men have nothing to do with them. Such spiritually advanced men are called also manasa because they always keep up the standard of transcendental voluntary service of the Lord to the Lord on the spiritual plane. This completely forbids fruitive activities for gross bodily sense gratification, bodily sense satisfaction, or subtle speculation of the material egoistic mind. There is also subtle mental speculation, and it's also sense gratification. So practically we see, so also you are talking, so many people, right? Then it's like a subtle sense gratification. They are talking on some topics in a subtle way. There's also material topic like a garbage. Social literary men, scientists, mundane poets, theoretical philosophers, and politicians who are completely absorbed in the material advancement of sense pleasure are all dolls of the material energy. They take pleasure in a place where rejected subject matters are thrown. According to Swami Sridhara, this is the pleasure of the prostitute hunters. But literatures which describe the glories of the Lord are enjoyed by the Paramahamsas who have grasped the essence of human activities. You know what is Paramahamsa? Paramahamsa is swan.
Oh, that's the swan.
Paramahamsa means Parama, on the higher level.
They're on a higher level.
Yeah. Paramahamsa is called like pure devotees, pure swans. And they like only pure spiritual atmosphere. They are not interested in all the mundane, pietic, poem, and modern talks.
Yeah, you go to any pond that has swans.
You just click any link in the modern world, and you will get unlimited talks, except glorifying the Lord. Unlimited. Everybody has their own opinion. Tatvak visanga janatagna viplava yasmin prati shlokama badhavatyapi namanyanantasya yasha nikitaniyat shrinvanti gayanti grinanti sadhava. Tat, that, vak, vocabulary. Vak. In Sanskrit is vak. In English, vocabulary. Vocabulary.
What is it?
Vocabulary.
Okay.
Like book.
Book? Like
Yeah.
a book, vocabulary.
Yeah, vocabulary. Vak. It's like same root from Sanskrit. Visarga, creation. Janata, the people in general. Agga, sins. Viplava, revolutionary. Yasmin, in which. Prati shlokam, each and every stanza. Abadhavati, irregularly composed. Api, in spite of. Namani, transcendental names. You see, Nama in Sanskrit, name in English.
Name.
Same root.
Nama. Yeah.
Anantasya, of the unlimited Lord. Yasha, glorious. Ankitani, depicted. Yat, what. Shrinvanti, to hear. Gayanti, to sing. Grinanti, accept. Sadhava, the purified men. So this is a beautiful song. Shrinvanti, Gayanti, Grinanti, Sadhava.
So it's a song?
Yeah, it's all this sung. All the Sanskrit verses are sung.
They're all sung.
Poems. So in Sanskrit, all Bhagavatam is written in the sung poem. Then Srila Prabhupada is translating as a prose. So he's explaining it in a prose, in the simple language. On the other hand, that literature, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation, full of transcendental walls directed toward bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of these walls misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even those imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. So it's interesting. It says, okay, let's read. Prabhupada is explaining. Even this literature may be imperfect, sounds like grammatically or something, but it glorifies the Supreme Lord, that scripture becomes perfect, and it purifies everyone. Purport. It is glorification of the great thinkers to pick up the best even from the worst. It is said that the intelligent man should pick up nectar from a stalk of poison. So it's Srila Prabhupada is explaining how to get good thing even from bad thing. From everything. Even if something good or some person is doing bad, but still you squeeze something good from that person. He did something good. So there was Srila Prabhupada's guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He has one disciple who was criticized by his another disciples. But when they were criticizing one disciple, maybe he did something wrong. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati immediately heard and stopped them. He was ironing his thoughty will always. So he saw only good in that person. In that way he gave good example. You got to see something good in a person.
You do.
It is said that the intelligent man should pick up the nectar from the stalk of poison, should accept the gold even from the filthy place, should accept a good and qualified wife even from an obscure family, and should accept a good lesson even from a man or from the teacher who comes from the untouchables. So he said even the girl comes from bad family. If that girl is good, you can that can be a good wife. Yeah. And also it says even teacher comes from bad family, but if he teaches good thing, and the intelligent people devotees encourage him to continue and do good things. In that way, everything becomes good. Everybody is encouraged to do good things. Qualified from a man, from the teacher who comes from the untouchables. These are some of the ethical instructions for everyone in every place, without exception. But a saint is far above the level of an ordinary man. He is always absorbed in glorifying the Supreme Lord, because by broadcasting the holy name and fame of the Supreme Lord, the polluted atmosphere of the world will change. And as a result of propagating the transcendental literatures like Srimad-Bhagavatam, people will become sane in their transactions. While preparing this commentation on this particular stanza of Srimad-Bhagavatam, we have a crisis before us. Our neighboring friend, China, attacked the, Srila Prabhupada said this a half century ago, still going on. China has attacked the border of India with a militaristic spirit. We have practically no business in the political field, yet we see that previously there were both China and India, and they both lived peacefully for centuries without ill feeling. And Srila Prabhupada as a Paramahamsa still sees good things. He says China, India now fighting. And he also saying thousands of years ago people were godly in both countries, so they were living in peace. But because of modern influence of bad parties like all this modern, so many corruptions, dictatorship, and the people are becoming atheistic, and they are forced to become like they have such a mentality to fight each other and be not friendly. And they both lived peacefully for centuries without ill feeling. The reason is that they lived those days in an atmosphere of God consciousness, and every country over the surface of the world was God-fearing, pure-hearted, and simple, and there was no question of political diplomacy. There is no cause of quarrel between the two countries, China and India, over land, which is not very suitable for habitation. And certainly there is no cause for fighting on this issue. But due to the age of quarrel, Kali, which we have discussed, there is always a chance of quarrel on slight provocation. This is due to the issue there is always provocation. This is due not the issue in the question, but to the polluted atmosphere of this age. Systematically, there is propaganda by a section of people to stop glorification of the name and fame of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, there is a great need for disseminating the message of Srimad-Bhagavatam all over the world. It is the duty of every responsible Indian to broadcast the transcendental message of Srimad-Bhagavatam throughout the world, to do all the supermost good, as well as to bring about the desired peace in the world. Because India has failed in her duty by neglecting this responsible work, there is so much quarrel and trouble all over the world. We are confident that if the transcendental message of Srimad-Bhagavatam is received only by the leading men of the world, certainly there will be a change of heart, and naturally the people in general will follow them. This mass of people in general are tools in the hands of the modern politicians, and leaders of the people. There is a change of heart of the leaders only. Certainly, there will be a radical change in the atmosphere of the world. We know that our honest attempt to present this great literature conveying transcendental messages for reviving the God consciousness of the people in general and re-spiritualizing the world atmosphere is fraught with many difficulties. Our presenting this matter in adequate language, especially a foreign language, will certainly fail, and there will be so many literary discrepancies despite our honest attempt to present it in the proper way. So Srila Prabhupada is saying there are so many speculations, right? Mayavadis. They are bringing their own philosophies on the name of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or religion, and they are confusing people. Then they are thinking, oh, I'm reading this Bhagavatam, then so what is the goal? There is no goal. I'm just meditating. I'm just doing whatever I want. So what is the source? So whoever shows up to challenge Prabhupada, or so many students came from different institutions, they come to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, we follow this, we follow this. Then Srila Prabhupada is asking, who is your disciple succession? Where is your successor? So whom you are following? There almost everybody failed. Even Beatles, they failed.
They failed?
Yeah, because they were following some Mayavadis.
Oh.
And then that was lady, Yoko Ono. She was telling, oh, you don't follow anyone. You just do whatever you want.
Just do whatever you want. Yeah, she was kind of a train wreck.
Yeah. Those type of people, they were leaders of the society. So almost everywhere, if Prabhupada didn't give this knowledge, it's everybody's. I also grew up in some religious family, but when I ask a knowledge like who we are, where we go, what is the absolute truth, and these questions are not responded. Instead of just, you follow just this religion, do this, then I ask, why should I follow blindly?
Right.
Unless you give me knowledge, I cannot follow you.
Knowledge,
Yeah, fraud. Especially foreign language will certainly fail, and there will be so many literary discrepancies despite our honest attempt to present it in the proper way. But we are sure that with all our faults in this connection, the seriousness of the subject matter will be taken into consideration, and the leaders of society will still accept this duty as being an honest attempt to glorify the Almighty God. When there is fire in a house, the inmates of this house go out to get help from the neighbors, who may be foreigners, and yet without knowing the language. The victims of the fire express themselves, and the neighbors understand the need, even those not expressed in the same language. The same spirit cooperation is needed to broadcast this transcendental message of the Srimad-Bhagavatam throughout the polluted atmosphere of the world. After all, it is technical science of spiritual values, and thus we are concerned with the techniques and not with the language. If the techniques of this great literature are understood by the great people of the world, there will be success. When there are too many materialistic activities by the people in general, all over the world, there is no wonder that a person or a nation attacks another person or nation on slight provocation. This is the rule of this age of Kali or quarrel. The atmosphere is already polluted with corruption of all description, and everyone knows it well. There are so many unwanted literatures full of materialistic ideas of sense gratification. In many countries, there are bodies appointed by the state to detect and censor obscene literature. This means that neither the government nor the responsible leaders of the public want such literature. Yet it is a marketplace because the people want it for sense gratification. The people in general want to read. That is a natural instinct. So Srila Prabhupada says everybody wants to read, everyone's going to get some knowledge. But because their minds are polluted, they want such literatures. Under circumstances, transcendental literature like Srimad-Bhagavatam will not only diminish the activities of the corrupt mind of the people in general, but also it will supply food for their hankering after reading some interesting literature. In the beginning, they may not like it because one suffering from jaundice is reluctant to take sugar candy. But we should know that sugar candy is the only remedy. So Srila Prabhupada says everybody wants to get some knowledge, everybody is interested in something. They are, in modern times, they are listening so many links, right? YouTube and so many things and so many news. But they always listen and hankering to get some knowledge. But they are not interested in ultimate truth, right? And the pure absolute truth. And Prabhupada is giving example of jaundice. If patient is sick with jaundice, he will not like sweet, he will not like candy, honey, and he will not feel that, he will not taste that sweetness. And what is the treatment? Doctor is prescribing it every day, little bit, that candy. Then that taste will back and that illness will go away, will be cured. Same way, and the people do not have taste to listen to Srimad-Bhagavatam, glorification of the Lord. But if you listen every day, like one saint gave example of a Ayurveda doctor. Somebody had diarrhea. Whatever he eats will be gone. So what the doctor recommended him eat a little ghee every day. Then the other people ignorant people were criticizing him. He's got diarrhea, now the doctor is recommending him eat ghee, that will be more diarrhea. So doctor's answer was, if he eats every day little ghee, there will be little left in the stomach and it will nourish body, and that way he will not die. So it will be little. So same way, if you listen every day Hare Krishna, glorification of the Lord, Srimad-Bhagavatam, and the process given by the acharyas, then that it will be little cleaned every day, purified every day. The process never stop the process. Every day do something, more or less, at least something. The judge put as a like habit. Every day I get to read something, chant, but never pass a day without doing that. In that way, there is a chance you will be purified. Otherwise, when people are too much materialistic and they have no any interest in these topics, if you try to push them, put under lock, you listen, and they may go crazy and run away. They will call 911. That I'm abused with this Hare Krishna fanatics. They want me listen this literature 24/7. Then you will be arrested. So you cannot do this. And Prabhupada recommending you a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Candy is only for jaundice. Similarly, let there be a systematic propaganda for popularizing reading of the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad-Bhagavatam, which will act like sugar candy for the jaundice-like condition for sense gratification. When men have taste for this literature, the other literatures which are scattering poison to society will then automatically cease. So you gotta, if you want to, if you don't want that cap filled with poison, put their milk, then there will not be place for poison. So it says world is full of poison. So if you give people proper language, then they naturally will leave that bad places, bad listening. Otherwise, there is no chance. The whole life listen and next life bad karma. We are sure, therefore, that everyone in human society will welcome Srimad-Bhagavatam, even though it is now presented with so many faults, for it is recommended by Sri Narada, who has very kindly appeared in this chapter. So if somebody asks why you are listening this, so you can say, because it's recommended by Narada Muni. Then people ask, who is Narada Muni? Then you will explain, Narada Muni, disciple of Brahma. Who is Brahma? Brahma is the creator of the world, who had knowledge, who come out from the navel of the Supreme Lord. And he had automatically get knowledge from him. Lord has instructed him. So, therefore, Brahma has his father, Brahma has knowledge. Brahma is his father and guru. He has perfect knowledge. So where did he get from perfect knowledge? He got knowledge from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. In that way, this knowledge comes from the Supreme Lord by disciplic succession. And of course, you heard so many people who are giving knowledge in the modern society, right? And everywhere you go, even drunkards, even marijuanas, they are giving some instruction to someone, how to smoke properly, how to drink alcohol. Everyone wants to instruct. They want to be cool. Ignorant people are attracted for that. But if you give this knowledge, everything will be ceased, disappear. So this is the only way. Just every day do something. There was given one example, mundane. There was one preacher in some religion. He was reading every day scriptures. Probably it's a joke. Then everyone went. Those who were listening him, they went to hell. Oh, the teacher went to hell. Then there was a drunkard driver. He went to heaven. So the teacher, that priest, he rebelled. Why is it I was reading these books? This is just a bad joke. It says when the driver was driving, everybody was praying to the Lord. So when the priest was reading, everybody was sleeping. So when I drive, she's praying to Krishna.
Pretty much.
The whole way praying to Krishna when I drive.
That's why the sticker's on your car.
Yeah. So that's I'm thinking I may be a bad person, but maybe I may go to get something good because someone was praying because of me to Krishna. So wherever we are, we can use. When we drive, when we cook, when you do whatever, you can always chant Hare Krishna. I always think, what would I do if there was no Prabhupada didn't bring Hare Krishna? It will be just wasting life. Now we have chance. Whatever you do, wherever you go, you cook, do some garden work, or do whatever, you can always chant. Then when you want to listen something, you can listen Bhagavatam, Prabhupada. Of course, when there is no association with close devotees, you start losing that taste. You start listening something else, unfortunately. And you start losing taste. Therefore, it's most important. When I started reading Prabhupada's books when I was a student, he was always encouraging how to attain that perfection by the association with devotees. So there is no chance without devotees. If I think I can go do myself, then it's illusion. I will fall, eventually I will forget Krishna. And I will be absorbed in other topics. So Prabhu got initiation one more time.
Mani?
Yeah.
Balabhachandra.
Balabhachandra Prabhu, he got initiation from famous book distributor and guru, Vaisheshika Prabhu. Vaisheshika Prabhu. How do you think, Prabhuji? What you read, how do you think?
Wonderful. I don't know who I'm talking to.
Good. Yeah. Prabhu will be giving today lecture, so he will keep energy for that. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone, whoever took part in this process. So we are reading this book not only for others, we read first for ourselves. Prabhupada says, if you want to save others, you got to save first yourself.
Yes, so you save
How can you
yourself
save
first.
others if you are yourself
You gotta
drowning?
Save yourself first, you know.
So, and same time, Prabhupada blessed us with the perfection. You can be processed same time. Someone can read, someone can listen. So all the processes are purifying in the same way. Shravanam, Kirtanam. Jai. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Good.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Hare Krishna. So we ended in the Srimad-Bhagavatam 1.5.11. Next time, if you are still alive, will be 12 text.
If you're still alive.